Alright, changing out a smoke detector that's connected to the rest of the house. All the smoke detectors connected together. This one come apart. So yeah, I'm coming in a little late. These all have connectors on them. So what it's going to end up, you're going to have 3 wires. This plugs into the detector, and the back of this is going to be a black wire or a white wire. So the hot, neutral, and most of these are orange that I've seen. It's going to hook to these red wires. That's a traveler that goes to all the smoke detectors. It'll fire all of them. So the smart thing to do is make sure you get the power turned off. Will mine hang there? So I turned the breaker off. It said smoke detectors. I'm going to find the ground wire. Dust. And I'm getting what? 3/10 of a volt. Alright. 0.7 volts. So we're good to go to undo those. So, new smoke detector. If you got a standard sealing box as this one, this screws, when I took the old one off, line up with the new bracket. So you just put it in there and tighten the screws up. These come with a harness. If this isn't going to be a central where they all connect together, you just use the black and the white. You see they have the orange wire capped off. You don't use that. These work perfectly fine as standalone. This is an AC powered one. It does have a battery in it, but this is designed to hook up to the house power, which is 110 volts. So you want to make sure the power's off, and it's got the safety thing for the battery. So does it right there. Black line and a connector and white neutral. So we're going to take these connectors and connect this thing back up, shove the wires up in there, plug this thing in the back, and this thing will just pop up in there and screw in. It'll be hooked up to the other ones. And if you're going to do that, you might as well make sure you got the same AC powered interconnected ones for the entire house or unit or whatever you got. That way when one smoke detector goes off, they all go off. So get a kitchen fire, if the one here in the kitchen or the living room goes off, it's going to trigger the ones in the bedroom, so you'll don't have to wait until the smoke gets to you before you realize there's a fire. And these things it's great for that. Anyway, alright, let's hook this thing up. Now if you'll noticed, the insulation was cut about a ½ inch back on these. I recommend getting some nice wire strippers, or you need some good wire strippers. You don't take the wires out with you when you trim the insulation, but I go 3/4 of an inch, because the way these nuts work, if you're not familiar, this is going to screw on up here. It's going to screw on and twist. So what you want to do, where's the black one? We'll start with that one. I can do this one hand. Who knows? This is why you want the power off, because you got to touch them. You want this sucker wrapped around. You want those wires wrapped, twisted together to start with. Don't want to just try to stick them up in there, figure it's going to catch them. That way when you put this thing on, and it'll get nice and tight. It is now twisted the 3 of those together, and you always test them. Try to pull that wire back out. If you didn't catch it, if you just stick them in alongside it and twist it, a lot of times you can just pull that wire right out of there, which would be a royal pain. It's going to be an intermittent problem, or it's not going to work at all. So same thing with all 3 wires, and then we're going to shove this up in there so just the plug hangs out, and we'll plug the detector into that, stick it up there and twist a little bit, and it'll be locked in here, and that one's done. Alright, I always, so you shove all the wires up in there. If I didn't mention it, the reason you want it 3/4 of an inch is so you can wrap these wires around those other ones so that it all gets twisted together. Plug it in here. I don't know if you notice this or not. This has a place to put the date when you install it, and it says replace alarm 10 years after installation. So this is kind of goofy. Replace by what? You can't add 10 to 22 there. And anyway, so then you just kind of shove this up in the middle, and that'll twist up on in there. Now, if you really want to get particular, if you put this up near the top, like the center of the room or something like that, I have a tendency to put, this is the smoky part where it's gonna catch the smoke. You put that towards the top, so that's the highest place. I didn't quite get it perfect like that, but and then you test it and make sure you pull the plastic thing out under the battery. So you always pull that out and test it first. Make sure the battery's good. Now it's run off of AC. A lot of times they have a little green light. They'll tell you the AC's working, and in this case, that's the battery because I don't have the power on yet. So I'll go check the other ones, and I'll check them all. And chances are, when I get them all rigged, test this one, they're all going to go off. We'll see. And just show you what I'm talking about. These, I'm taking the old ones off. You can see that. It's just barely hanging on there, and that's about how it was. It's just sitting there, this one. So these wires, this whole thing's wrapped around there, but that little wire, where did they got them wrapped around the whole thing? Not spectacular. Okay. Alright, just a quick wiring note. If you'll notice, the one in the middle had two red wires coming into it. This is the end. That's the middle, and there's one on the other side. So the one on the other side is going to have probably one wire or two coming into it. Because the one in the center is joining, so that's why you got two black wires. You got power coming in, power going back out. Same with the red wires. Same with the white wires. Alright. Hee-hee. Okay, powered on. A little hard to see in this one. There's a little, I don't know, can you see that green light in there? It tells you the AC power is going on. Let's see what happens when you just test one. Didn't hear the other ones. Okay, same thing, powered up. Well, I'm surprised. I don't hear the other ones going. Huh. Well, I know that works. I guess you got to trigger that orange circuit to get them to go. Alright, well, that's it. I'm not crazy about the location. They're not all the way up in the very top, but there's ceiling fans in here, so that's probably why they put them off to the side a little bit. There you have it. Wiring up the ones that are all interconnected.